This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for Wednesday, July 31st, 2024. I'm Marek Mazurik. Major developments in western St. Joseph County are making South Shore Line officials rethink the feasibility of a train station in the new Carlisle area. At a Northern Indiana Commuter Transportation District Board meeting this week, the South Shore Line and the St. Joseph County Redevelopment Commission agreed to pay $150,000 for a study on the possibility of a station. 6 years ago, the South Shore didn't think ridership would be enough to warrant a station in New Carlisle, but NICT President Michael Nolan said things have changed dramatically for the town since the announcements of General Motors and Amazon bringing a massive factory and data center to the area.
You have a GM Samsung plant that's going to employ close to 2,000 people. You got the Amazon facility that's going to employ a lot of people. Plants and facilities of those size also have a substantial indirect employment as well. With that in mind, we decided that we ought to dust that study off and refresh it, given the incredible change in circumstance.
The station would likely be located where the Hudson Lake stop currently is west of town. Nolan estimates at least 2 years of studies and preliminary engineering before construction would begin. The South Shore this week also signed an agreement with the South Bend International Airport that will see the train service continue to operate its station on the east side of the airport while aiming for a station on the west side of the property. Purdue University's president says Indiana's proposed changes to high school diplomas do not meet the school's admission standards in math, social studies, and world languages. In a letter sent to top state education leaders last week, President Mung Chiang said, quote, "Not all students will attend college. However, all students should clearly understand college admissions requirements and be offered the coursework needed to be admitted to and succeed in college," end quote. The letter from one of the state's flagship research university comes as IDOE seeks revisions to its initial plan for diplomas. The department closed its first wave of public comment on Tuesday. Students will no longer be required to take the SAT or ACT to graduate. Both standardized exams are highly encouraged for admissions at Purdue and several other in-state universities. Chang said that's one of several factors that could impact students who wish to be admitted to Purdue. Over the last 6 weeks, Notre Dame has hosted the 10th cohort of Mandela Washington Fellows. A flagship program of the U.S. Department of State's Young African Leaders Initiative, this year's iteration of the Mandela Washington Fellowship at Notre Dame included 13 women and 11 men from 21 African countries spanning Angola to Zimbabwe. Fellows underwent a Leadership in Business Institute program that included academic coursework, community service, cultural exchange, and networking opportunities with industry and community leaders across Indiana, Illinois, and Michigan. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Indiana, your bold future starts here. IBJ Media, Inside Indiana Business, and the Indiana Economic Development Corporation invite you to the Engage Indiana series, presented by CareSource, Indiana University, and Old National Bank. With an unrelenting focus on growing Indiana's economy, our Engage Indiana events take place in every region of the state. Discover when we'll be in your area at ibj.com/engage.
And Big Ten basketball is coming back to Indianapolis, the conference announced Wednesday. Indianapolis was selected to host both the men and women's Big Ten hoops tournaments in 2025, as well as the women's tournament in 2026 and the men's tournament in 2027. All 4 events will be held at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. The announcement from the Big Ten comes just over a week after it selected Indianapolis to host the football championship game at Lucas Oil Stadium through 2028. Shelbyville-based Capital Industries, which makes full-service custom robotic systems, has been acquired by Aceta, an industrial robotics manufacturer. The financial terms of the deal were not disclosed. Capital Industries operates a 54,000 square foot facility in Shelbyville. Aceta did not specify if any jobs would be impacted by the acquisition. The company did not respond to a request for more information from Inside Indiana Business. And a unique Minions-themed barn is up for auction in Wells County. The 2.4-acre property features a 25-foot silo that has been painted to look like a minion from the Despicable Me movies. Our partners at WPTA-TV report the Stark family has owned that property in the town of Ossian for more than 40 years, but painted the silo in 2016. It has since become a popular attraction, gaining recognition from the Washington Post and other national media. An online auction for the property is now open but will close on August 18th. Northern Indiana veteran and business leader Bill Hanna is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast with Gary Dick, presented by PNC, a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports, entertainment, and beyond. Available now from your favorite podcast provider. I'm Mark Mazurek for Inside Indiana Business Radio On Demand.